Ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, my name is Stanley Kosakowski. Presently I live in Poland, and today I would like to tell you a few words in English instead of Polish, like the most of my videos. I would like to tell you a few words about Poland, about United States, about President Donald J. Trump, President of the United States, and President Andrzej Duda, Andy Duda, from Polish President. On the July 6th, there was a great historic speech in Warsaw, Poland. Donald J. Trump, he was the one who was giving that beautiful historic speech, which tell you about the shape of the United States, of the United States presidency, and about this gentleman who, after so many years of different turbulences, different wives, now he achieved the smartness of the real man, and I'm very proud of him, and very proud to be a American and Polish, of course, citizen, and have a president just like him. His speech in Poland, there was they call the Plac Krasińskich, that's been Plaza of Krasiński, was on the front of the beautiful church, and the speech was by the monument of the monument representing the people from the Polish underground army, which in World War II was fighting the Germans in Warsaw. The time they call this uprising, they call the Warsaw uprising, and don't mix up with the Jewish ghetto uprising, which is completely different story. In the Polish Warsaw uprising, there was the Germans killed almost 200,000 Poles. There was a massacre, and at that time there was a Soviet army on the other side of the Wisla, because the Warsaw is a capital, and in the middle of the Warsaw there is a river they call Wisla. On the other side of Wisla there was a Russian army waiting until to the last drop of the Poles, and they didn't help Polish people fighting the Germans that time. And because there was another regime, there was a German regime and there was a Russian regime, and still those regimes, they exist in different level. The communist regime, because was never acknowledged as a deadly regime, is still continuing in the different places like North Korea, and you can see some parts of that regime, some pieces of that regime are growing up in Russia under Putin, under presidency of the Putin. And the German regime, they call the Nazi. There is no such a regime exist on this world. I mean, there is use so many different people. They use word Nazi only to express themselves, or to punish, to make bad words about some other side when they have a dispute about whatever political reason, or some other when they discuss the political things, or some other things. And what I want to say, there was a very, very beautiful speech by President Donald Trump, because we have now the fighting about the civilization, the Christian civilization, which one was the civilization was built, was the greatest civilization in Europe and the United States, because even Americans, they have to acknowledge, because the cities, the United States, the foundation was the Christianity. Now you have this how called the Los Angeles, San Francisco, the name of the city, and the values, the Constitution, and everything else was built on the Christian foundation, not any other foundation. So don't get confused when some people they say about only the values and stuff like this. The same thing was in Poland. I mean, in Poland, the same thing was in Europe, and now Europe, they how we call, they trade the Christianity for the some ideological reason, and now the people with they call the liberals, the leftists, they 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 say, I mean, the freedom. Oops, the freedom is without of the God. I mean, there is no God, there is a freedom, and there is such a thing that doesn't exist, because if you spend a little bit more time and try to read the gospel, you will find out the freedom only comes with the God. So this is the main thing. And when you listen to the speech made by the Donald J. Trump, he also mentioned the God as a foundation for everything, foundation to restore the Europe like the greatest time of the Europe like used to be decades ago. So there was a beautiful speech, and I hope that's the base, that's the beginning of the change. And he was 100% right, because I live in Poland, and to be honest, only the Poland as a country, when I'm coming back from the church, every single church in Poland, if it's small town or big town, there's a full with the parishioners. So, I mean, they love to pray, because I will have to just tell you a few words. I mean, if now with the era of the fake news, only the real news, I mean the truth you can find only in the gospel, only in the church. In Poland, when the intelligence was killed, mostly killed by the Germans and Soviets and Russians, there was almost only few percent was the intelligence left, and this intelligence usually they live in some other parts of the world. They live in the United States, they live in different countries. Poland, because the Russians and the Germans killing the priests, professors of the universities, because they left only the peasants, the people with the low intelligence or the hard-working people. But even on the base of the peasants, take a look at in Poland now. The intelligence is coming back. And we have, I mean, not too many, but we have the great professor like Professor Andrzej Nowak, Professor Krasnodębski, Professor Legutko, Professor Zybertowicz, Professor Ryba, Professor Piotrowski. Not too many of them, but the Polish intelligence, because most of them were killed, they start to grow up. But when they start to grow up? In church, because about 90% of the Polish clergy are very intelligent people. So that's the so you can see how this population in Poland, how the quality of the population in Poland switched. I mean, before World War II. There was a different intelligence on different level, and especially universities all over. And after that, when they were killed, the communists, they took away the weapons from most of the people, and that's one thing. But another thing, the universities start to produce the leftists start to produce liberal people with far away with the God, from the God. And far away from the real values. The values was the socialist communism. And that's why we have a problem in Poland, because there are so many of them. But but I'm surprised, even in the Polish village, when you go and sometimes you speak with some of the people, you can see how smart they are. So it is, I think Poland will be able to create a new intelligence in a next decade or two. Probably, for next 2 generations, they will be able to recover. But so far, only the intelligence you can find in the Catholic Church, because they read the best book. The best book is the Bible, and when you go to church every single day on the base of the Bible, you have the teaching by the priest, and the teaching about the love, about the smartness. That's why the church got a most important role in Poland and every other country. Not in Poland, same thing in the United States. And I hope with the help of the Donald J. Trump, the President of the United States, we'll be able to change a lot of things in the United States, in Poland, but in Europe. Europe, the only promise, the only help, the only promise to change in Europe, the positive change, is only in the Christianity. If they come back to the Christian values, the Europe will be safe. If not, they will be in that place is coming the Muslims, and coming the Islam, the faith of the devil, the faith of the radical people who they don't teach you to. I mean, they don't represent the open church when you can come and pray. They have to. I mean, you with us, or you with out of the head, or you out of the hand, or whatever. This have a Sharia law. This is the preaching of the devil, and Europe, they have to choose. And now is I'm not surprised, but I'm very sad to hear that they call so they call so I mean, they call the intelligence in Europe. Take a look at the Donald Tusk. He's a crook and the trader and the worst people with the worst character, crooks and thieves, they are in the elite of the European Parliament. Conbended, you know, he was even proud of himself to be a pedophile in the younger ages. You have a junker, junker as a junkie cars, junker, but junker sounds better. You have a junker. You have this Timmermans. You have a people with the low morality, with low ethics, and the people who doesn't represent any Christian values and good values, but they represent some values, but the liberal values. The liberal values, there is no such a values. Liberals, they are in shape of devil, and they are sickness. They bring and destroy. I mean, they destroy Europe. They destroy the value of the family. They destroy the value of everything. So sooner or later. I hope sooner the world will change, the Europe will change. But we have to stick together with the Donald J. Trump, the President of the United States, as the greatest president in the world. And too bad he doesn't have anybody to talk except President Andrzej Duda. To be honest, only those two people. And the present time, they have the quality to be a chief, to be the leaders of the world. There's only two of them, but there is such a good people in the good countries, the Christian people, like for example Panama. I call myself Stanley Panama before, you know, when there's some other reasons. And Panama is a Christian country. I love these Panamanian people. They're very nice people. They're very generous people. But to be honest, take a look at who comes to the Panama. Usually comes to the rich Americans, or maybe not so rich Europeans, liberals. And those people, when they come to the Panama, they don't bring the Christian values, and they bring the they bring the atheistic way of living, and it's nothing to be proud of it. So we have to stay away from them. And now some people are coming, so I will make this speech short. Okay, talk to you later. Bye now.